Hey everybody, and welcome back to Reactive Gaming with Chris. Today we are going back to basics. This is going to be really helpful for people that have just started playing the game. Maybe if you're experienced, you may not know some of these things, so it might be helpful for you guys as well. But this will probably be more useful for the people that are going to be purchasing the game after February 22nd when it properly releases to the public. We're going to go through and I'm going to show you some tips and tricks that may really help you guys out. So stay tuned and let's get stuck into the first one. First one here, this is actually perfect. This random mutant just came out of nowhere. This is actually one of the things I will be needing for my tips and tricks. Now, when you finally kill one of these buggers, you're going to see an option to skin them. The best thing you could do, especially if you're in a large group, is you all skin at the same time because it will allow you to get mutant armor, which is quite a good armor, especially against cannibals. Okay, for the second helpful tip, this is going to be great for basically marking your locations around the map. So places of interest like caves or bunkers or places you may even want to build. This is going to be really helpful for you to be able to track it via using your GPS system. So all you need is a single stick. You can plump it anywhere you want. I don't believe it needs to be on a stick, but this is just easier because sticks are everywhere. Put a stick into the ground. Go into your inventory and get yourself a GPS locator. By doing that, all you do is stick it on the top. You have yourself a point of interest. And by looking on your GPS, you're going to see exactly where that location is. Now, that pink one is Virginia there. She's marked also with a GPS. But you'll see here, you can change the colors and everything like that as well. Alrighty, number 3, Virginia. Now, she is a very useful asset in your game. She's not only just a pretty 3-armed, 3-legged girl that walks around aimlessly doing nothing. She will be your best friend in this game when it comes to defending you and your base. So all you really need to do with her, she doesn't require food, water, she doesn't get cold, nothing like that, so you don't have to worry about it. She's just AI. Once you've made friends with her, you'll pretty much see her generally within the first, say, 30 minutes of landing on the island. She'll be a bit skittish at first, but she will be a really helpful asset down the track. Once you've made friends with her, she's trusted you, she starts bringing you food, stuff like that. This will be the perfect time to be able to access the inventory. Now, you can add items to her. Let's just quickly do that. V, just stand still for a second. You can add different articles of clothing to her. So, for instance, in the rainy time, it's really nice to have her in a bikini. Now, by adding weapons to her, you have made her basically a... what do they call them? A turret. She will be around basically everywhere you go. So she follows you. So you start running up to the mountains, she'll be not far behind you. She'll be your defender. She's really good for that very reason. She spots things before you even see it. You'll hear her start shooting for no reason. But there will be a reason because there's something in the woods trying to get to you. Alrighty, tip number 4. You first landed on the island, you have no idea what you're doing or where do you go. The first thing I would do is personally try to make a shelter, somewhere where you could save the game. So by doing that, you got options of pre-made sort of shelters. You got, your log cabins, you got these little basic things like that. What I would personally recommend is getting yourself a treehouse. This thing will ensure that nothing is going to be attacking you throughout the night, and you're going to be safe anywhere you go. By doing that, you just find the blueprint in your book. You can reposition that so they basically work on a 360-degree angle. Put the blueprint, whichever tree you want to put it in, lock it in. Then you just need to grab all the materials to basically do that. So you're going to need generally like rope and mainly tree logs. They're the 2 items that you most likely will need to build anything when it comes to like a blueprint, pre-made sort of building. Let's quickly finish that off right now. Alrighty, that is done. Now you are fully off the ground. Nothing can attack you because nothing flies, thankfully, in this game other than birds. Quickly come up here. Maybe pick a tree with less sort of branches on it because this is a bit weird, but for now, this will do. Go back into your prefab. We're going to need to get a bed Let's find a bed. You got two different beds. You got a big queen size or double bed, and you got your normal little stick bed. That will probably do you for now. Plop it in there. Done. You got somewhere to save and to move over to the morning. So by moving over to the morning, let's just make it a keyboard. So Z or E. E for save, Z for sleep, and move over to the next morning. Or if you're using controller, a Xbox controller, B or A to do that sort of stuff. Alrighty, number 5 is how to make a fire. So we're going to do that really quickly. All you need is 2 sticks. Oh, wrong one. Let's change that back. Making a fire. Now, when it rains, it will go out a little bit sooner. So try to do it in an undercover area. You can do it up in your treehouse or inside your base. You can basically build a fire on anything other than water. Okay, so once we've got your fire going, to prolong the life of the fire, I would always recommend getting some stone, chucking some stone around it. This will basically make the longevity of your fire way longer. Now, if you want to make it even longer once again, we're going to chop down a tree real quick. Let's have a look. Oh, you know what? I'm going to use the old chainsaw. It's nice and quick. Alright. Now, what I did there, you should never do. If you don't have building damage on, that falling tree that landed on your base will more than likely be damaged or collapse completely. Now, if you never want a tree to grow back in your area again, for instance, if you're building a deck here or a house here, you need to get rid of the stump, otherwise it will grow eventually, because the game does have the ability to regrow trees. Alright, let's get a axe out real quick. We're going to chop that into a quarter. So it comes in 3 lengths. We're going to chop that in half once again. We got 2 chopped up bits of quarter log. We're going to put that into the fire. Now that will basically last you an entire in-game day before it burns out. Alrighty, so let's move over to number 6. Number 6, you're in a big area like this. You got a whole bunch of shrubs, trees, whatever. Not so much trees. You're not going to be able to knock down trees with this. If you just throw your log, and especially if it's going down a hill, this will completely clear of any bits and pieces. Now, by doing that as well, you're going to be able to pick up lots of sticks. They're always good to have. And yeah, so that just clears it. You can get Calvin to do that as well. We'll go see Calvin in 1 second. Number 6. This one here is Calvin. He is one of your crewmates on the helicopter as you crashed. He is now completely deaf, and he is unable to communicate with you other than using your little notepad. He is also very helpful for clearing areas like this. If you want to get rid of any trees or shrubs, he'll basically clear the entire lot. He's good for doing that. He is not so great for gathering logs and sticks and stones and stuff like that. He can do it, he just takes a long time to do it. So let's get out of the sunlight real quick, because this is not looking good on the notepad. Okay. Second, let's turn him around a little bit, because that's just a bad angle. Alright, mate, come back here. Don't walk in the fire. He likes to do a lot of sitting around. Come here. There we go. Okay. So, get him to mainly fill up your logs, log storage, things like that. Don't get him to bring it to you, because he'll plop it in weird areas that you can't reach. So, for instance, you're building a house and you've got a deck underneath it. For some reason, he always manages to go underneath it and throw it under there where you can't get to it. Get him to put it straight into a rack. So we got log, drop in, or fill holder. Get him to drop it here as well, but let's get him to drop it in the holder. I did make one just over here. He's so weird. Come back here. Here. Alright, get logs and fill holder. At least he can do that. He's also really good at fishing, especially when you... during the winter time, actually, when you can't get fish. He's really good for that. There you go. He could only pick up, I think... Was it 1? No, that's 2 at a time. And then you got a holder. He'll fill that up for you. He'll continue to do that sort of stuff even while you're away. So if you're venturing through a cave or something, he'll continue doing that for you. He never used to, but one of the patches has actually allowed him to do that now. Alrighty, number 7. So we're going to move over to traps. Now these are really, really helpful. Doesn't matter what part of the game you're in or what stage you're in the game, these are the best things you could use for finding food. I personally find the fish trap to be the absolute best way to get food. Unfortunately, as of the 7th of December, which is today, they have changed the value of how much fish will give you in the way of filling yourself up in food. They used to be on normal mode, it'll give you half of your food requirements. Now, by doing that, let's quickly grab a fish. Oh, tons of old stuff that's gone bad. I'll go down the river. Let's just quickly get a fish. Oh, wait a minute. I got fish traps over here. We'll go here. Let's eat a fish real quick. So this used to give you half of your required food for on normal mode. Quickly do that. Watch down the bottom right-hand corner. See the food value only go up a very minimal amount. That used to give you half, and that should have been almost fully full by having that. So what you have to do now is to dry your food. By drying your food, you're going to get a lot more out of it. Your thirst will go up, though. Also go down, I should say. But your food will go up. So you kind of have to balance it out. So the best way to do that is, just make sure you have plenty of water when you're eating as well. They do go down quite quickly, especially when you're going through caves. I don't know why, but your food will go down. Let's look at the other traps. If you don't want to go fishing, or if you're nowhere near a water source, you got little small animal traps as well. So these ones, you have to try to find an area that's really prone to having a lot of small animals running around. You can't just put these anywhere, I found. Make sure you scout out the right area. If you just put that here and we don't get any small animals, you will not get anything in your traps. So make sure you really think about where you're going to put those sort of things. Unlike the fish trap, you can put that at any body of water that flows and is submerged. So I wouldn't recommend putting in a big deep area because, for one, you're not going to be able to get to it, not easily. So I would definitely recommend putting it down in a stream like that. You see little fish down there, they will eventually go into it because they're fish. They're not very bright. Come on, go into the trap. And if you can't be bothered waiting, just go and spear them. It's probably a lot easier anyway. It's weird how they glitch under the rocks. So you can't see them under there. Go into there. There we go. Got him through the glitch in the rock. We got him. We'll keep him for later. Okay, so tip number 8. Where and what you could use as water. So there are 3 real options to use for water. Option number 1 is probably your best option, is to get a pot. You will be able to find them basically at any sort of camp. Fill it with water, and we got to boil it. Gotta love the animations on this game, eh? Sometimes they're a bit funny. Okay, we need to find a place where we could burn it. So you could do it on a fire. You could do it anywhere, basically. We're going to use this here. Light a fire. And once again, just put it on there. There's going to be heaps of options what you could put into your pot. The best thing you can put in your pot if you want food and water is something called a Greg stew. You basically need to harvest an entire cannibal, including his head, put in there. That will give you food and water at the same time. But if you just need clean drinking water, we're just going to select that one. While that's boiling, it does take about a minute to boil. We're going to go to the next option, which is making up a rain catcher. Same as the first forest. If you remember, if you've ever played it, you have rain catchers. So what it requires is a turtle shell, and I think it's like 10 sticks. As soon as it rains, you got yourself clean, fresh drinking water. It gives you a fair bit just from one sip right there. Now, in this game, unlike the original forest, it rains frequently in here, so you're always going to have some of them, full. Just set up, I don't know, depending on how many people you got, set up many as you need. The other option is drinking directly out of a river or a stream. You can't drink out of salt water, i.e., the ocean. You can drink straight from that. It does give you like a little, oh, that was a bit dirty kind of thing, but it doesn't affect you in any way. It does take off a smidge of health, like a really small amount of health, particularly on normal mode. Now, on hard mode, by doing that, it does take off a little bit more. But, if you're in a pinch, that will do. And this is your best option, is to boil a whole bunch of water. That should be done any minute now. Once you have that fully boiled, you can take a sip directly out of it or pick it up and put it straight in your backpack, and you can kind of drink as you go. All right, that is now done. Pick that up. You can drink directly from it. Put it back in your backpack. You got it here in your backpack, and you can now drink straight from it. You're good to go. So when you're a big walk or whatever, nowhere near fresh water, that's perfect. You do also have the option of 3D printing a flask. You can only probably get about, I think it's 2 sips out of a flask, unlike 4 out of the pot. But once again, it's really good to fill them up as well. Okay, so for tip number 9, we're going to be looking at what sort of arrows you could craft for your bow. So you don't need a compound bow to do this sort of stuff. The one you could craft with sticks, tape, and rope is more than sufficient for when you're first starting out. So all you need, now you could use the 3 different types of arrows. You've got your carbon ones, then you also have your stick ones that you make with just basic sticks, stones, and tape. And you got your 3D printed carbon arrows as well. So let's just go use these carbon ones because they are the best. Now this will give you the option to build, I think, 4 different types of arrows basically. So you got your explosive ones, your fire ones, your poison ones, and your shock ones. These all are awesome, and these only just came out, I believe, in the patch 14 update. So you can do explosive ones. Let's see if we could do one of those. You need 2 batteries, a C4, a computer chip, and some wire. So 2 batteries, computer chip, C4, and wire. This will create 4 explosive arrows. And that's pretty awesome. Let's go get our compound bow out. There we go. All right. Now, I think all you got to do is just aim it at something. Let's just aim it in here. And they are on a bit of a timer. So if you're hunting an animal of some sort, let's see what happens to poor Calvin. Hey, buddy. Oh, poor guy. He always cops it hard. These are probably my favorite ones. They're the most powerful ones, but they do take the most resources to do. Let's try another one. Let's go at the stairs here. Boom. They're cool. I really, really love these arrows. The compound bow and, well, the crossbow's okay, but these are my favorite. They will pretty much destroy a whole bunch of enemies in one hit without you throwing grenades or C4 or anything like that. Okay, helpful tip number 10. Now, this one will be really helpful, especially when you're in the middle of getting raided by cannibals or mutants or something like that. If you go into your inventory, so you basically, what you need to do is hold your inventory, so I, on your keyboard or the down button on your controller. You hold it. This brings up a quick backpack. So you could actually select, say, for instance, the katana really quickly if you wanted to or whatever. Now, to change what's in your backpack, because it'll be very standard when you first start out, just go into your inventory one more time, select your backpack, put it into into the middle of your inventory. You can remove items and put things back as needed. You completely empty, so you want to put, say, for instance, the modern axe in there or some spears. You could do all that. So that'll apply all 5 spears to your thing. You want to get the rifle in there, whatever you want to do. That is a helpful little tip for nice and quick access to everything that you need in your inventory. Okay, so tip number 11. So the GPS is going to be basically your best friend in this whole game. This is going to tell you how to get around. So by using this one, all you need to do is click your middle roller key on your mouse. That goes in and out for what you need to see, or if you want to really get in there and zoom, see where you are on the location on your map. That's how you do that. Now it also has the days that you have spent on the island in the top left hand corner, and on the top right hand corner it has your current time. Now the time goes fairly quickly in this game. I think it's like every minute's like 10 seconds or something like that, so not too much. Now, another little tip with the GPS too, when you're running, because you're going to be doing a fair bit of that to try to get around until you get some forms of transport, i.e., the glider or the Night V. If you're running with a weapon in your hand, it's going to stop the amount of sway that the GPS gives you as well. As soon as you get rid of that, it's going to be quite difficult to sort of see what you're doing. If you could tell, it sways around way too much. So that is tip number 11. Okay, tip number 12. Using cannibals to make bone armor. Let's just quickly get rid of these guys here. Pick them up. All you got to do is plop them on a fire, and they will burn to a crisp, and you will have some bone armor to get from these guys too. Oops. Let's throw him on the fire. There we go. Another cool thing is whenever you kill random cannibals, mutants, or whatever, they do drop these little skin pouches which are full of goodies. Normally medications, herbs, things like that. Sometimes ammunition if you're lucky. Okay, once they're fully burnt, you have all the sticks you need to start crafting some bone armor. Tip number 13. Wearing high comfort value clothing, i.e. the pajamas, will give you not only a really good rest when you're sleeping, but if you're sitting on a bench, this will be another way you could actually regain a lot of energy if you want to play throughout the night. So that's always a good option to change your clothing depending on what you're going to be doing. Now, all these articles of clothing are basically found throughout the map. There are tons of different bits and pieces you could find, but they are really helpful if you know what you're going to be using them for. Tip number 14. If you stumble across any supply crates, if you loot these and you save and you exit out of the game, they will instantly respawn, giving you the ability to basically resupply constantly. Okay, and tip number 15, the final tip, is you can change the LED lights in your backpack to whatever you like. This is a cool little feature. It looks really awesome during the nighttime. I keep it on white because I think it shows the best. And that is all for this video. If you guys like the video, please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. That would be really helpful for my little channel. We also still have the giveaway going on the 25th of December. We're going to be announcing all 3 winners of the copy of this game. So all you need to do for that is just subscribe. If you could like and leave a comment, that's also very helpful. It helps the algorithm pick up my videos. And that's pretty much it. I really appreciate everyone that's been watching and that is watching at the moment. Have a great one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
How you doing? I don't want to come on too strong or nothing like that, but I've been thinking about you. And I've been wondering,